Hi, in this video I just wanted to quickly talk about how the conveyor belts and slidey ice are pretty much exactly the same, at least in my thinking, from what I've researched in the game, and how I came to this conclusion. I want to explain exactly my thought process. So if we come over to Glamour City, I'm doing this as MacBat just so it's easier to demonstrate, but obviously the physics are the same with every character. So basically my theory on the inner workings of the game is that, if I go over to this wind tunnel here, you see there's a force that's being applied to my character that pushes it up, right? Makes sense. I think the exact same thing is happening here. We have on this conveyor belt, we have basically this pointed the other direction. We have a wind box, an invisible wind box that is pointing the exact direction of the conveyor belt. And the reason I think this is a couple of factors. First of all, you can stand on the edge of these, and that would explain why you can stand on the edge. The wind box just doesn't cover that area. And another reason is because even if I'm not on it, you see I'm never landed on it, but I am getting the force applied to me. Because the wind box, if you like, goes slightly above where the conveyor belt is. So that's my sort of explanation for that. If you want further evidence that this is the case, we can see in Sea Mamas that the visual effect for the wind tunnel is not linked to the size of the wind tunnel. And we can prove this because over here there is no force on this part of the visual effect or this part, only in the middle. So that would line up with the conveyor belt, where it's like the slight edges of the conveyor belt are not covered by the wind box, but the center is. And it would also explain why you get the force applied to you even if you don't land on the conveyor belt. It's because it's a wind box that goes slightly above where the conveyor belt is actually placed. So why do I think that the ice and slidey ice is exactly the same? Well, it's because it behaves exactly the same. The behavior displayed in both, for lack of a better word, are the same. If I come over here and I just go above it, you'll notice the force starts getting applied to me again. They're just recycled wind boxes from the wind tunnels, from the conveyor belts. They all act under the same sort of principles. And one interesting interaction you can see with this is in it's in Hunger Mountain over here. If you go down the right side of the mountain, you might notice that there's actually sort of there's a spot where the wind box is seemingly supposed to be, but that it just doesn't work. If you saw there, it's kind of finicky. But you see here, I am getting pushed down, but if I stand in certain places, I won't. And that's not just on the edge of the... It's not just on the edge. When I was on the edge of the conveyor belt, I didn't get pushed, but that wasn't just on the edge. I was pretty far into it. And that seems to be some sort of misplacement with the wind tunnel, the invisible wind tunnel that I'm talking about. Because even right here, I can just stand here, and it does not behave like normal slidey ice at all. Which means we can tell that this isn't a property inherent to the angled ice blocks, but it's actually, at least it makes sense to believe that it's actually a property of an invisible wind tunnel, which shares the same qualities. There you go. That's my explanation for how I think it works. I could be wrong. We literally could ask the devs if we really needed to know, but I think the reasoning is there for it to be believable. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.